Hello there, stamping friends. It's Jackie Bolhuis from Klompen Stampers. I have another video in this little mini series I've been doing about all the basics that you need for card making. You know, whether you've been stamping and making cards for a long time or you're brand new, I feel that there's just these basic things you need and you need to know. And then card making and stamping can be super easy. I'm all about keeping it easy and trying to not make it overwhelming and make you feel like you need everything. So with that said, today I want to share what I call my top 10 tools that I believe every card maker, new, been around forever, really needs to make stamping simple, because that's what we're all about. So I'm going to go through what I call my 10 top tools, and while I'm doing that, got to make a card as well. So we're going to make a cute, it's actually a gift card holder. It would be perfect for birthdays, thinking of you, anytime you want to give someone a gift card, because, you know, we can send a cute card and just put a gift card in it and then they open it up and it falls out. So we're going to make sure it looks like a card from the front, but they open it up and it'll have this fun little pocket. I have a different way of sharing it with you that you can stick that gift card in. So without further ado, let's flip the cameras down and get to work, because we got a lot to talk about today. Hang on one second. When I think of my top 10 tools, a good paper cutter is top of the list. So I'm going to share with you Stampin' Up's paper trimmer, which I think is one of the best ones you can find out there. And what I like about it is, well, lots of things I like about it, but you can cut and score. It also has this nice fold out arm, so when you're measuring long things, and it's smooth across here. Sometimes there's a gap or a ridge, but this way, if we wanted to measure out, this is just an 8.5 by 11, but it would also come out to 12. So I like, it's nice and big, the numbers are great on it, and you can also measure going to the left or to the right. You know, sometimes cutting little pieces, it's easier to cut a little strip by, you know, almost going backwards. Like if I needed a 1/2 inch strip, rather than, you know, normally we try to do this, just work it backwards. Come over here to the 1/2 inch and cut your strip. So paper trimmer. Now it does come with a cutting and a scoring blade. You can replace these. You can get more of these as they wear out eventually, but I'm very pleased with these blades. They've been lasting me a long time. So we're going to kind of talk about our tools as we make a card. So the first thing, we need to take an 8.5 by 11 and cut it in half. So we're going to cut that at 4 1/4. So let's just cut that down. Now that will give you 2 card bases. So we can set one aside. Now this one, to fold it in half, we're going to score it. So this way, when you cut it the long way, you need to score at 5 1/2. So I like to put my cutting blade up at the top and then bring my score blade. And it's not a very deep score, so I run it back and forth a few times. Part of the reason for that is if you're trying to score like a thinner paper cardstock, we don't want this to be too deep, because otherwise you'll have an issue with it tearing. So cardstock, to get a good score, just rub it up and down a few times. Now just a little tip I should share with this blade. When you're cutting, you do not need to put a lot of pressure on it. Let's just come back to this extra piece here. I've had some people that say it doesn't cut good, or it gets a little ratty, or, you know, frayed edges. What almost always is happening, they're pushing down really hard. I mean, I am not pushing down at all. I am simply sliding it up and down, and it gives you that really nice cut. So be gentle with it. Okay, so that is our cutter. So we've cut and scored. So there's our tool number 1. Now these tools are not in any order, okay? I just kind of listed my top 10. So the next would be a bone folder. What this does is you get nice crisp folds. So we've scored, here's my raised side, and it's that raised side that goes to the inside of a fold. And then I always like to take my bone folder and just rub it back and forth. That's what gives it that really nice crisp fold on all of your cards. That's just kind of one of my things. I don't like a card that when you fold it, it just doesn't close and lay nice and flat. So bone folder is our tool number 2. So let's start stamping here. I'm using the Kite Delight stamp set. This one I think is so fun. It's just kind of whimsical. The images are somewhat bold. I don't feel like you need to color them. It's just fun and easy. So this is in the January to June mini catalog. Great for kids, adults, men, women, girls, boys, whatever. So let's set that aside. And I have several of the stamps already mounted on clear blocks. Well, clear blocks is my tool number 3. With all the Stampin' Up! Stamps, they will come in either the cling mount or the photopolymer. Well, you need a good block to put them on. Now, Stampin' Up's blocks are fabulous. I have some older ones from some other companies, and I don't like them at all. What I like about these is they feel like wood. They're nice round edges, nice little grooves there, so they make holding on really simple. They come in all different sizes. Each stamp set in the catalog will give you the recommended ones, because you obviously need ones that are big enough for your stamps. But you can buy the multi-pack, and then you have one of each one, so you always have the right size. Or the more you stamp, or if you know you're in this for the long haul, it really never hurts to once in a while pick up a few of the standard ones that you use all the time, some extras. It just makes creating a little bit easier so that you're not always taking on and off all the time. So that was what, number 3. Okay, so let's start doing a little stamping here. And so I have just one of the greetings from the stamp set. Another year flies by. Happy birthday. And I just have a piece of basic white here. Now, measurements, I will have these over on my website. I always do a corresponding blog post that will show a picture of the card and all the measurements and all the supplies I used. So the link to that will be in the video description to make it real easy for you to go find that information. Now, that blog post this time is also going to show you these top 10 tools that I feel that you need to be successful for quick and easy card making. So make sure you check that out. Okay, so let's see, we got blocks. We're doing some stamping. So let's go ahead and we are gonna just stamp our kite string first. And then I'm gonna take a scrap piece of basic white. And this is what I am going to stamp my kite in. So let's just ink that one up and stamp it like so. Okay, another tool we're gonna bring in here, and this is the paper snips. Now, I love this for a little scissors. It cuts so good. It's real easy. The holes, where your fingers go fit really nice. That short little tip makes it real easy for fussy cutting. So if you like to fussy cut, a good pair of scissors is a must, and the Stampin' Up! Paper snips are fabulous. So we're gonna call that our tool number 4. Okay, let's keep stamping here. And in this stamp set is this adorable little cloud. So let's stamp a few clouds up here in our sky. And let's see, we're getting close to done here. Let's see, this is going to go like so. I'm not gonna adhere it yet. You'll find out why here in a second. And that's gonna go like so. And then let's go ahead, while we're stamping, then we can put our stamps away. We're gonna stamp the inside as well. Before we stamp this, a couple other tools that I've realized I'm using, but I haven't talked about. Grid paper. You can buy this in the bigger size or the smaller size, which is actually designed for Stamparatus, but I love to use it for my everyday stamping. Grid paper is so useful for helping you get things straight. You'll see me use it a lot to put my stamps on my blocks nice and straight. Yeah, I did a video as part of this series that was all about stamps, and I gave some tips for that. So grid paper, I'm calling that a must-have tool. And then I really goofed here, and I forgot to use my piercing pad. I'm okay actually on this table because I have a piece of foam core, and then I have a pretty thick pad here. But if you ever have troubles with stamps, especially your photopolymer, having them stamped nice and straight, or I'm sorry, not nice and straight, but nice and clear, what you want to do is have some kind of foam underneath it or some kind of padding. Now these seem to stamp pretty good, but there's other ones that are photopolymer that I can't get a good image to save my life. It's just because there's no padding, there's no foam rubber on the photopolymer stamps. So you'll get that, it just won't stamp as good. So I think these are like $5. This is a must-have. I can't believe I forgot to use it, but these images stamped okay. So, I'm telling you it's a top 10 tool, but you will find that there really are quite a few of those photopolymer stamps that you don't get a good image with, but if you put a little foam under it, you're going to do better. Okay, so we've done that, now let's see, we need a couple more images here. We need our sun. Let's just use Daffodil Delight and we'll stamp our sun there. And I think we're gonna call that good for our card. So we have parts and pieces, a little dimensional background there, as well as this. So as we move into our next top tool, it's actually kind of 5-part, we're gonna call it. I didn't wanna list each adhesive as its own tool, but so I listed adhesives or a good adhesive as the main category here for my top tools. So we're gonna start out with the mono adhesive, mono liquid adhesive. This is my go-to adhesive. I use it 99.9% probably of the time. I feel people have a love-hate relationship with it. You love it or you hate it. I think people that do not like it, it's generally because they put way too much on it. You don't need much adhesive at all. So if we flip this over on this one, you should be able to see. Now the little key is, I don't know if you can hear this. Did you hear that? I actually have that tip tight down on there, rubbing on it, so it's almost scraping across it. And I think that helps me not put too much adhesive on. Because otherwise, if you hold it above and you're letting that glue, I guess, kind of drip out, it's not gonna, you're gonna definitely get way too much. So there's my first adhesive. The second adhesive would be dimensionals. Mini and regular are a must. Just depending on the size of what you're making, you're gonna need one or the other or both. So let's put our kite on. I think it's rare that I make a card that I don't use a dimensional. I think it just adds so much to your card by just popping up an image. So here is our kite that we cut out with the snips. So isn't that cute? Super easy peasy. Now on the inside, let's flip that open, come back to our liquid here. The one I got here is almost gone. I had to open, ooh, that one gooshed out. I had to open another one because that one was it was gone. I used it up. So we're gonna stick that right there. Now, remember I told you this was going to be a gift card holder. So what I have, let's get this down good, is a little piece of Granny Apple Green that we're gonna put right down here along the bottom. And I'm going to just take a circle punch. Doesn't matter what size, circle punch, circle die, whatever you have, just to make a little tab in there. And then I want to talk about another adhesive. And this is the tear and tape. I don't use this very often. I would say the only time I really use it is if I'm doing something 3D, dimensional, or it has to dry really quick, or something that's going to have like a lot of stress on it, we'll call it. But I know a lot of people like this just as their everyday adhesive. But for something like this where I'm making a pocket, I really like to use it. Then let's just talk about another tool here because we're going to use it. And that's the Take Your Pick tool. Now, I actually have 2 of them here, so I wanted to show you all these different ends. The brush tip is an add-on, and that comes with the pad here. Now, you can't stamp on this pad. It's different than that piercing pad. But this is designed for when you're die cutting, and if you have real intricate dies that have like lots of pieces in them, after you've die cut it, you can put it on here and kind of brush across it, and it helps all those little pieces fall out. Helps tremendously. But the normal tips on these, there's a little sticky end here. People like to use this for sequins and stuff. It helps pick up stuff. We can pick up those little dimensional pieces with it. I don't use it that often. There's also the little spatula, I guess you would almost call it. If you know, sometimes if you've put a layer together and it's like, oops, I need to peel it up, this will help you get underneath there and help pop a layer up. But what I use it for 99.9% of the time is our little pointy end here. It works great for taking dimensional backings off. It works great for peeling the tear and tape backing off. You can scooch it under there and pull those pieces up. So that's, just got to get it started. For people like me that don't have nails, I like to call this my little picker tool because I use it all the time. And then we're going to stick this right down at the bottom of the card like so. So what that does now is create our little pocket so we can put a gift card in there And then there is our cute little card. I think the only tool we haven't talked about is the Simply Chamois. This is my favorite way to clean my stamps. This one's brand new, so it looks nice, but and it's actually a little bit dry. I need to get it wet. But as you stamp, you can real easily just rub your stamps on there. You can go that way. Some people like to pick it up and clean their stamps that way, but that is the best way to clean your stamps. Easy peasy. When this gets dry, which is starting to get dry now, I take it under my sink. I just get it wet and I wring it out. Get it nice and wet, but wring it out just like a chamois. Get all that moisture out. Wring it as best you can so it's not like dripping wet, and you're just cleaning your stamps with water then. Super easy. When it gets really gross, because it will just get all inky, I take it back to my sink and I run water on it. Just lots and lots and lots of water. And I rinse it, or run water, squeeze, and keep doing that until that water runs clean. It'll still look icky and stained, but it will work great again to clean your stamps. These last forever. Eventually mine gets so gross, I'm like, I'm done with it, and I get myself a new one. Okay, let's review our tools, and then I'm going to show you another card. Now remember, I will have all these pictured as well as links to order them over on my blog post. That link's down in the video description. But again, these are my top 10 tools that I think all stampers need to be successful at quick and easy card making. So first we talked about the Stampin' Trimmer. Great paper trimmer, portable, easy to use, and it will cut and score. Second one is the paper snips. You need a good scissors. So I love this for cutting out cardstock, fussy cutting. It's super easy. It's easy on the fingers and hands, but real easy to maneuver around to do some fussy cutting. So we have our snips. We have the bone folder to get a nice crisp image. So there's 3. I don't know if I shared these in the same order before. So 4 clear blocks, 5 the piercing pad, and I kind of failed you and I didn't even use it and I got good results. So it's not an absolute gotta use it all the time with photopolymer, but it's kind of recommended. And if you ever get photopolymer, especially, it's like those super detailed ones are the ones that tend to not stamp real well if you're on a super hard surface. So a little padding underneath it will give you a beautiful image. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The chamois is 6. A grid paper is 7. We have our take your pick tool is number 8. And then number 9 is our combined adhesives. So I have 5 adhesives that are the only ones I use, and I use them all the time. We've got dimensionals, mini and regular, mini glue dots, great for little embellishments, little tiny pieces of cardstock, but primarily if you're adding a little bow is what I use that for all the time. And then tear and tape, and then the best adhesive in the whole wide world, the liquid multi. So that's 9. Now, I'm going to hold number 10 for a second. I'm going to keep you in suspense. Let's bring our card back and I'll show you another version. So here's the one I made. I think this one I actually stamped a second kite in. There was what I made at first. But what's fun about this project is you can use any colors, any color cardstocks. I thought, perfect little card for a male, and then here's one for a female. I just swapped out the colors and did the same thing. There's my pocket. Starbucks is probably even a better gift card for a female. So there's 2 versions, and you'll find all the details of these and the measurements over on my website. Now let's talk about the top tool, number 10. So my 10th top tool, which really should be number 1, is a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Now you're probably laughing, but I'm serious. If you have yourself a good Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I would love to be your demonstrator, we are absolutely here to help you. You know, you can't walk into a store and have someone teach you everything you need to know about how to do it, how to use this product or not. That's what we're for. So I just want to thank all of you who have trusted me to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And if you are looking for a demonstrator, I would love to be yours. I share usually 2 videos a week. I send out a weekly email that has 2 or 3 card making tutorials that you can download in it, and you never know what else you get from me. So I would love to be your demonstrator. If you have any questions about any of the products I shared or anything having to do with quick and easy card making, drop me a comment, send me an email. You can contact me through your website. I love to help people make quick and easy cards. So I'm here for you. So the 10th item on my top 10 tools are a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back stamping with you again real soon. Have a stamp happy day.